The clock is ticking. That is the theme for World Tuberculosis or TB Day 2021. In the midst of battling COVID-19, which killed over 2.7 million people worldwide, how has the impact our battle against other deadly infectious diseases like TB? Saraya Mia has the story.
Tuberculosis or TB is an infectious disease caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It spreads through droplets, mostly attack the lungs, but also can attack the kidney, spine, and brain. In 1993, WHO declared TB a global emergency. TB is one of the top 10 causes of death globally and the leading cause of death from a single infectious agent. WHO estimates that in 2018, nearly 10 million people around the world developed TB, and 1.5 million people died from the disease. Majority of those affected were in Asia. According to consultant pulmonologist at Pantai Hospital, Dr. Helmy Haja Mydin, the COVID-19 pandemic had halted the progress in eliminating other infectious diseases such as TB.
About 1.4 million fewer people have received the necessary care for TB over 2020 because of lockdown, because of hesitation or hesitance to actually go forth and actually get the treatment that they need. Now, on a personal level, I have seen cases where patients develop a cough, for example, but because they think it's a mild cough, it's not something that needs to be looked into, because the MCO is in place, they just hold back. So by the time they come and see me, it's literally months during which they have developed symptoms, things have become more severe, and unfortunately, because it's potentially contagious, when they have it to a point where they're coughing it out and then passing it on to others as well. So in some ways, the measures that we're being made more aware of, the measures that are being put in place, yes, that should help, but there's all these add-on effects that we're not seeing, the kind of indirect effects of having the pandemic, of having the lockdown.
The difference between TB and COVID-19, he said, is TB may exist dormant and cause symptoms later on in life.
The COVID-19 is a virus, so it behaves very differently from TB, which is a type of mycobacteria. And what's also quite important is that TB as a germ, as an organism, can live in you for many years. So you could have something called latent TB, where the organism is, shall we say, well, it's dormant within you, up to a point where something happens to make it active again. So getting exposed to it today may not necessarily result in developing symptoms over the next few days or the next few weeks. It can remain dormant in you, and at some point, it can become active and cause havoc. This is quite different from COVID, where exposure will lead to symptoms if you were to get the disease over the next few days. And usually the concept of quarantine, where we put people away or we ask people to self-isolate for 10 days, there's a logic behind it, because if you don't get it within that 10 days, then you're not going to suddenly develop COVID-19 out of the blue.